Thank you. Guys, we're going mobile. My name is Marielle Hagblad, and for the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna take you through the mobile security challenge. We're gonna talk about how cyber criminals have adapted into the digital area. So, who am I? I've been in the mobility security business since 2011, which gives me slight more than 8 years of experience in this super niched area of our IT infrastructure. And today I'm representing a company called Lookout. We're a cyber security company focused on the security of iOS and Android devices. And today, we're actually securing more than 180 million devices worldwide. It's a number that I'm pretty proud of. So, let me take you through how I am seeing the current market. First off, our users. They have gone mobile. Compared to what we saw just like a decade ago, all of the work has started to move to our mobile devices, and so has our users. And this comes then with our data as well. I'm pretty sure that many of you in this room still are carrying a lot of data on on-prem servers, but it's accessible from mobile, which means that it's still traveling within the cloud. And in this region, we are especially strong on deploying services such as Office 365, which means that a lot of our corporate data are actually being stored in the cloud. So this gives us a new set of challenges. The perimeter, it has disappeared. And the way that we need to work in this new perimeterless world is different. Because hackers are not stupid. They're very well aware about this change and how little we actually have adjusted to it. Because the traditional security solutions that we have acquired for like 20 years and all the technology that we have bought, it doesn't really apply to the new set of challenges that we are facing. Let's have a quick look on our infrastructure. I'm gonna let us compare how we protect our PCs versus our mobile devices. Now let's start with the boxes that we have on the top of the screen. You can see that it's divided into 4 different categories. We have applications, we have device and network, and finally web and content. And you can see it listed within each box. There's a lot of infrastructure that we have bought in order to protect our devices and users. Most of our end users are not even administrator on their own laptop. It comes shipped to them with a lockdown image. They can't install whatever software they like. They're protected with VPN, with firewalls, both on the device and on the premise. And there's antivirus deployed. Let's compare it. Let's look at our mobile devices. The first difference is, of course, bring your own device, which is more common when it comes to mobile than it is on our PC area. And the fact that even though we do buy mobile devices for our employees, it doesn't mean that we have the same set of technology to help us manage them. A mobile device can't be delivered with a lockdown image. Sure, you can actually use an MDM solution to lock down some features or deploy some settings. But it's still the end user that has the final go in many of the decisions made on this mobile device. There's also a difference when it comes to connectivity. This device is always connected, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our PC, it goes into hibernation mode as soon as we close the lid, and it goes offline. But the mobile device, it's always there. And for filtering, well, absolutely nothing. But why are our mobile devices so vulnerable? Really? Well, because of these ones. Because of how we use these type of devices. It's 5 o'clock, and it's time to leave the office. You shut down the lid of your laptop, and you put the computer in your bag, or you even leave it at the office. But your mobile device, it tags along. You'll bring it to the grocery store when you pick up food. You will leave it to your kids while cooking this food because you won't have them screaming while you're cooking your pasta. And then later on at night, when going to bed, at least for myself, I leave it next to the bed because I use it as an alarm clock. This is not how we use our laptops. This is how we use our mobile devices. But these devices, they contain as much corporate data as our laptops do. Another difference are what's shown in this picture, our applications. Because we're using our mobile devices for both personal and corporate use, it means that we have both types of data, but within the same apps. Take SMS messages. I have from friends and from family, but I also have from colleagues and customers in the same app. The same goes for calendar. There's dinner invitation along with meeting invitations. And the way that we mix this type of data makes us less aware. We are less cautious when we start to receiving funky text messages or weird stuff on WhatsApp. And because of this, I would say that the mobile device has become the primary espionage target. This is the ultimate device if you want to steal data from someone. It's always connected. It has two cameras, one in the front and one in the back. So however you leave your mobile device on the table, there's always going to be a camera watching you. It has multiple microphones to pick up audio wherever you are. It has all your usernames and passwords. It's not depending on if it's corporate or if it's personal. It's all there. So what we're seeing really is that social engineering is a big part of this because of the way that we use these devices. Social engineering then becomes the mobile kill chain. And you can see that this is either like text messages, you're gonna have to pick up a parcel somewhere. It can be a spear phishing attack looking like a friend is texting you on WhatsApp. It can be anything. It then develops to either or of these ones. A malicious website trying to steal your credentials. It looks like you're signing into Office 365, but in fact you're not. Or it can actually install malware on your device. It looks like you're installing a chat application, or it's just dropping a payload. It doesn't really matter. Because the object for this is, of course, to perform some type of espionage, and then later on expand into their actual goal. The hacker wants to steal data, and he wants to steal corporate data. So if we look at the split between these two different groups of attacks, you can see that for iOS and Android, it's more common that hackers use a methodology where they're actually tricking you to installing some type of software on your device. It's more common on Android, and it's also more seen on iOS than actually credential harvesting via weird websites. Yes, it's more common on Android because it's easier to sideload application on Android devices. But with that said, it's more than 50% of the attacks on iOS as well. Why is there more credential harvesting on iOS? Well, because corporates tend to buy iOS devices. We see more of the productivity applications and websites being used on iOS devices because iOS is something that everyone thinks is secure. So if we start to look at the encounter rates for this type of malicious websites, you can see that more than 30% is actually using productivity services that we are used to using our credentials and logging into. I'm going to give you an example. We have one that's real and one that's fake. Can you spot the difference? I'm sure you can, because you're all security professionals. This is your area of topic. Your eyes are immediately going to the address bar, and you can see that one of them is secure, it's using HTTPS, and the other one has a funky-looking URL. But forget about the address bar for a minute. Take a look at the websites. They're both looking pretty good. One of them are, of course, using another type of logo, but both the logos are familiar to us. If you're a regular end user, would you spot the difference? I'm going to give you another example, and this is actually a targeted attack that we at Lookout discovered for the big carrier Verizon, and this is super fresh content. This was actually last month. Here we have two again. One is real and one is fake. And this is the logon portal for their corporate access. I know your eyes are going to the address bar because I just told you about that in the previous example, but let's have a look at this one because both of these sites are actually secure. You look at the URL and they are pretty similar, and it's even hard to tell which could be the real one. You look on how this site is designed and you don't really see it. I can tell you that one of them is fake, and it's lacking slightly padding under the login button, but that's the only difference. And this is how good these types of attacks are nowadays. And let's say that someone actually detected, okay, well, this is funky. I've started giving my credentials, but I never click on login. It's already too late, because the password field is most commonly keylogged, which means that whatever you have typed in this field is already in the hands of the hacker. We're going to move on to the other type of vector when it comes to mobile phishing, when malware is installed. And because of this, I'm of course going to speak about the Pegasus attack. So for you that have not heard about the Pegasus attack before, this is a spyware that was actually discovered in August 2016, affecting iOS devices. It had all started with a text message. If you would receive this text, would you click on it? I'm sure you would, because this is also an important part of social engineering. Our consumer patterns have moved from us actually buying stuff in stores to being online. We have holidays with Black Friday, with Christmas, where we buy even more stuff online. We get so many of these type of SMS messages that we start to lose track. I know that the majority of you in this room are in this very moment expecting a parcel, and this type of messages are not unseen. And what's funny with the Pegasus attack was that it actually started with these type of SMS messages. So these are screenshots of 3 actual examples of the Pegasus attack. Unfortunately, in languages that I personally don't speak, but the last one has actually been translated. And this is even more of the social engineering part. Because you can see that this is a customized message saying, "Hi, Simon, your daughter," and she's even named, "she's been in a critical accident. If you want to go and see her at the hospital, click on this link." If you get a text message with your name on it, and that someone has social engineered your daughter's name in it, and it says that she's in bad condition, you will click on the link because you cannot afford to not to. So the Pegasus attack started with SMS phishing, and with the user clicking on a link. It was then using an exploit found in the Safari browser on the iOS device that actually led to full device jailbreak. And for you that are not familiarized with the terminology jailbreak, it means that more APIs are opened up in the OS, that no rules longer apply for what you can do with the device. And this, of course, led to surveillance software being deployed down to the device. So I'm going to show you how this looks live on a device. And this is a super short video, so make sure you pay attention. So we receive a text message from Elliot, and you can see that it's containing a link. We're clicking on the link, and you can see the Safari browser opening. It's trying to load a website, and it crashes. And that was it. This device is now jailbroken, and anything can be done on it. A hacker could use any of these 2 cameras that you have on your mobile device to see what you are doing in this very moment. They can use the microphones to record your calls or listen to what you say when you leave the phone on the table. It can see your screen, it can steal your passwords, it can track where you are on a location basis. Have you seen the Safari browser crash sometime on your iPhone? I'm sure you have, because it's not something that we think about regularly. And this is how smooth an attacker can actually steal your data. So, why am I on stage blabbing about the spyware from 2016? It's not that recent, right? Well, in May this year, this is just a few months ago, Pegasus was yet again discovered, but this time in the WhatsApp application. I'm sure that the majority of you in this room have WhatsApp installed. Do you know how Pegasus worked this time in the WhatsApp app? It was not a link. It was not something we clicked on. It was using calling technology. The hacker called their victim, and the victim did not even need to answer the call. How do you protect yourself from being called? You can't. So the trends we're seeing when it comes to mobile phishing is that about 85% are not using email technology. The phishing protection that our companies has deployed is for email, which means that 15% of their attacks, sure, they can stop them. And then there's the other 85%. And you can see that we have divided the statistics into various different apps. So there's messaging and social networking, and we have seen both a WhatsApp example, we have seen SMSs, which is a huge part of this. You can see 10% is productivity apps. We have seen Office 365, malicious landing pages. Then we have 11% that says games. No one really receives messages in games, do they? So that brings us to the other part of this slide, using phishing kit technology. Because using phishing technology means that you don't need to be a super hacker in order to actually do a phishing attack. You can easily just implement an SDK into your application in order to earn money. And this is an example. The map shows one phishing kit. One single one, there's multiple ones out there. And you can see that we in the Nordics are not really protected. There's bad actors in both Finland and Sweden, and the victims are also all across the Nordics. So, the games. Why do they implement this? Because they want to make money. And how do they do this? Well, of course, using ads. Most of the apps or the games that we install from the Apple App Store or Google App Store are free. Take this with you. There's no such thing as free. Either you pay for the app with money, or you pay with your personal information. So let's summarize what we have learned during these 20 minutes. Cybercriminals are regrouping from PC to mobile. With the 85% of the various phishing attacks not happening in email, we need to change the way we have built our infrastructure. Because it doesn't really cover mobile. It doesn't cover phishing. It doesn't cover malware being deployed down to the device. It doesn't protect you to have a firewall when a device is connected to 3G and 4G. And only going with iOS devices, which I know is a pretty common security standard at companies, it doesn't protect you. We have seen landing pages being very common on iOS devices that are malicious and steal credentials. And we have seen the Pegasus attack stealing everything that you have. That's what it is for me. If you want to learn more about this type of technology, you can catch me out here in the networking area. Thank you so much.